Hello everyone, it is Andrea, your global voice, certified motivational speaker, coach, mentor under the mentorship of Mr. Les Brown, and your personal accountability coach. As I had mentioned in the other video, I'm going to get deep and dive really into some areas, some topics that people want to speak about but don't have the courage or transparency to share. I'd like to share today's story with you, as it is February 3rd, 2022. In life, when I was growing up, I was brought to the Americas at 11 months at 11 pounds. It's a pound per month, imagine that. And upon my arrival, my parents were able to instill and made me aware that I was their gift, I was their treasure, that I was their treasure, and I received unconditional love. But unbeknownst to me, the trails that I had to travel going throughout my life were that of trials and tribulations. Here's an example of what I mean. When I was adopted, I was coming from an underdeveloped country at the time during the cartel of Colombia, South America. I was brought to the Americas at 11 pounds, 11 months, and I was welcomed with open arms into a healthy, wealthy, unconditionally loving family. I was grateful, still am to this very day. And I didn't realize how perspective plays a huge role into life. Let me explain what I mean. When you come into the world and dependent upon your upbringing and your childhood and your morals, ethics, and values as the family, they instill with you of what they feel, what they've experienced, and what they have overcome to where they are today. Now, for me, when I was growing up, I didn't look like my parents. I didn't speak like my parents. I had different physical features from them, which separated me from them according to my peers. That's when the abuse settled in and began. You don't look like your parents. You don't sound like your parents. How could your parents even give you up at such an early age? 11 months old. That's barely just shy of a year. Kids can be cruel, and it starts from within the home. The reason I bring this to your attention is because when I was growing up, I used to believe that I was living in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Now, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood is a neighborhood where everyone is loved, welcomed, and shares the energy and joy of family, community, and support. And I didn't think anything of the sort. My parents were very well educated, wealthy, and knowledgeable. So what I saw firsthand was an unconditionally loving family who did well, who loved everyone. And until I learned about my extended family, I really realized that I was living in a fantasy. I was living in my dream, only to come to find out when I had went to school, I had learned of different ethnicities, religions, backgrounds. For when I was in elementary and young school-aged child, it was predominantly one characteristics and traits that each family withheld and upheld, and I was the only one that was different. Sure, there was some taller and shorter and may have had different lifestyles, but for the most part, I was the one that stood out because of my physical features. Then I went to high school, and I learned of the diversities of the world, the different religions, the different holidays, celebrations, and the different family dynamics. And I realized, wow, for my whole childhood, I was living in a shelter. I was living in a box, if you will, because everybody looked the same, talked the same, had the same beliefs, and we visited everybody who had maybe a little bit different religions, But for the most part, their dynamics were similar. And when I reached high school, that's when everything changed. I learned about the different minorities amongst the different ethnicities, backgrounds, religions, lifestyles, economic status. And I would visit friends from afar and realize that my life wasn't only the way. There were so many different lifestyles. Good, bad, indifferent, rich, poor, healthy, not well. And that there was different ways that the world can be viewed. My perspective was tunnel vision. That everybody kind of had the same morals, ethics, values, and beliefs. They went to the same sports teams, events, and activities. And that's all that I knew. But then reality stuck in as I went to college. I went to college in the southern states of the United States. Once again, I was outcasted. I was stereotyped and labeled as a spoiled brat, a damn Yankee, and probably one of the most crudest titles for my Latin descent. And I was just under the concern and impression, wow, you're defining me by the color of my skin. You're defining me by my accents. You're defining me by my socioeconomic status, that of my parents. And you're also defining me from where my geographic location is. I was going into the industries of social work and psychology. And I was now labeled, victimized, stereotyped as these different compartments based on individuals' knowledge, limited knowledge, or upbringing. I didn't know anything of the sort. And as I grew older, I was able to learn the diversities of life. I was able to learn the different populations around the world. And that's when I understood society, family, external influences only give you a certain perspective about different races, religions, ethnicities, cultures, and backgrounds. But it's once you get out into the world and expand your wings, your knowledge, and be receptive to individuals from all walks of life, that's when you find the common thread, that we are all human. We are not defined by our status, our socioeconomic status, our financial status, our religion, belief, ethnicity, culture, etc. We are all human beings. And it's my mission to sharpen the lens, to live with your heart, to learn as much as you can from others, and to widen the spectrum of all things possible. Let's not go into a world where we are compartmentalized based on certain attributes, traits, shortcomings, areas of improvement. Let's mold our world into viewing it as a puzzle. For we are all different pieces of the puzzle. And once we connect, that's when we unite and rise and not conquer and divide. It wasn't easy being labeled as a stereotype, then a minority based on my culture, then as defined by my socioeconomic status for the success of my parents. You are veered at, jeered at, and labeled. It's not the way the world is, because underneath of our core, we are all making an effort to live our life with love. So I ask you with this question, and I thank you for being with me for this long. When I say, to piggyback off my previous video, when I say, I want you to think of a police officer, a teacher, a nurse, a football player, a hockey player, a mother, an orphan, what are the images you get in your mind? Now I ask you to change those images and to realize they are all human. I thank you for listening. I thank you for watching. My name is Andrea Mason, your personal accountability coach, bringing you daily content every single day, one way or another, allowing you to learn and to choose to follow your heart and not the herd nor the hurt, for on the other side is success and happiness. In this crazy game of life, make a conscious effort and choose to press play. Plan life according to you. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, as I'm here to instill empowerment, love, passion, to help you achieve personal freedom through the healing power of forgiveness and get you to the next level. I'll see you in the next video. Be well.